Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Good evening, folks, and welcome to Alien Addict. And it is a fine, delicious evening because we've got the tools, we've got the talent, but the tools aren't quite working because we've got my guest Dave Miller tonight, and he's tried to log into StreamYard on his excellent rig, and he can't. So he's had to come in on his phone, but he's here, so it doesn't matter. And a quick one. Just want to apologize for last night. That will never happen again in that way. It will happen again in another way, but we'll definitely get the paranormal guests coming and telling their stories on the cuff, just not like that. But without further ado, let's bring in the panel tonight. Lee, must see audio. How you doing, my lad?
Good. This is 3 nights on the bounce of having your good company of an evening, isn't it?
I know, mate. I know. I almost feel like we're brothers right now.
Oh, brothers, yeah.
No, actually, no. I'll go to. I'll take lovers. I'll take lovers all the way. You know, I'm all for that bromance. Speaking of bromance, that was the perfect timing. What was that? What was that? That thing?
That was my vape.
Oh, I thought it was an orb.
What's up, man?
Richie, you're back in business. You got a new mic. It's not StreamYard let you down, but then you're back in the game, but with a new mic.
Well,
Yeah.
StreamYard let me down another way with the same glitch, but it was the microphone that was bad. And actually, I think that microphone's been bad since day one. So I must have had a bad one because this one sounds better. I sound great. So
That's just what I was thinking.
I know. I saw it in your eyes.
Speaking of people who look great, the man that I've never seen before, his hair, this man, this beast. How you doing? How you doing, L. Dave?
I'm well. Thanks for having me.
You are well. You're looking well, and that is one fine mane you've got behind you. Oh, it's in a bun. It's in a bun tonight.
It's not a bun tonight, yeah.
Yeah. I see people in the audience. I've seen this thing in all its radius. But anyway, let's not speak about Dave. We'll speak about the other Dave. Dave that's in the bottom. He's ready to come on. And am I pronouncing this right?
In the bottom. Huh?
To the two Americans, am I pronouncing this right? So Dave Miller, he's boots on the ground. And he has done probably the most research than any of these other fools on the unit. Is it the Uintah Basin?
Yeah.
Basin? Is it Basin?
Basin.
The basin, like a bathtub.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's here. He's in the house. He's on his mobile phone, people. Don't judge him. He has a rig. The rig didn't work. But we've got him here. But without further ado, Dave Miller, welcome to the show, my friend.
Up, guys? How are you? Thanks for having me.
I'm sorry
about the phone.
No, mate, it's not your fault. It's Streamlabs. It's StreamYard's fault. All the way. It's good to have you. And
thank you.
I have, in a way, from being introduced to you from afar, from L. Dave.
Yeah.
I feel like you're at fault here for putting me through watching so many Skinwalker documentaries over the past week, because I have never, ever really delved deep into that until L. Dave here said, you have to watch these before you get Dave Miller on the show.
Homework.
You need to watch them. I suffered, and I'm just putting it out there. This big TV series that everybody's talking about in the States, that's with what's his name, Travis Taylor, yeah, the guy, the discoverer, the researcher, the scientist, whatever he is, Indiana fucking Jones, yeah. I was punished watching that shit. So I hope you're going to bring something great to the table right now.
I'm rolling. It's funny. Very funny.
You have the worst audio I've ever heard in my life, but I'm happy to have you here. But that's not your fault. That's Streamlab's fault.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No worries, man. But welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man.
How long have you been doing this research over? I'm not going to say Skinwalker Ranch because it is over the entire area.
Right, the whole area. I'm into my 4th hardcore year of doing this. 4 years doesn't seem like a very long time, but it's been a very eventful 4 years. How I met L. Dave, he watched a lot of stuff that was going down with me in the area towards the end of one regime to the next. I've had a very eventful few years out there. They've tried to bury me multiple times. Different people, owners of certain ranches, and the basin just keeps bringing me back into the game. Every time I think I'm done, my phone rings again, and I go back out. And I have no intentions of going out there tomorrow, but I know I'm going to be there next week. You know what I mean? It's this place. Once you're involved in this place, and it's very weird to say this, but it's almost like the land itself attaches itself to you, and it will welcome you if it feels that if you're sincere about what it is you want to see out there. There's a lot of people that go out there and make a bunch of bullshit up, you know.
You see it like I hear, mate. Don't worry about it.
You know, it's just they go out there, they do their thing, and they leave out a whole bunch of stuff, but they'll, you know, we'll get into all that stuff when you guys start dropping the questions, I guess.
Yeah, I think, and I swiftly want to move on to the other guests because they'll know more. I've literally just dabbled in it in the last few weeks. I've never been a Skinwalker guy, never even been interested in it.
Right.
Dave put me onto it. I've seen GUFON talk about it many a times on his show. But you say you got into it 4 years ago.
Right. Well, I started going out there and investigating 4 years ago. I've been involved in the paranormal and UFOs for a very, very long time, most of my life. But it was through George Knapp that I discovered this, you know, as I was going out to Area 51 and investigating out in Area 51. George Knapp put out the book about the Skinwalker book, and I started to read about it, and I was like, well, you know, I've got to get involved in this place quick. And I did. I started going out there, and I was trespassing, going over fence lines and trying to get as close as I could to the ranch. And that's basically what led me on to getting onto the ranch itself, was because they wanted to reel me in, because I was doing things differently from the other trespassers and investigators that were out there at the time. I had one of the guys tell me, he goes, you know, for you coming out here and just starting to do this stuff, you sure went past a lot of people, because the next thing I know, I'm signing a non-disclosure agreement and I'm going out onto the ranch, and I just blew past people. And the second that happened, the second that big black gate opened up and I went in there legally and was invited out there, the hate instantly started. I've got so many haters, dude, over this place. It would blow your mind. I mean, you guys are very much aware of how the paranormal community fights with each other, and you know, everybody's always dogging somebody else's evidence or whatever the case is. It's just as cutthroat as that with these groups that are surrounding the ranch. Everybody's trying to get out onto this ranch, and they'll do anything or say anything that they can to do it. I on the other hand, was invited because they wanted to lasso me in. And they did. They got me, man. They got me.
Reverse a little bit. So they wanted to lasso you in. So did this start out a little bit friendly before?
Absolutely. Well, it started very hostile because I flew a drone over the property, and I put it up on YouTube, and it took off. The video.
What year was this?
Shit. I don't know, Dave. Do you remember when I put that video up, man?
I think you know
it
what?
was right when the
I think for legal
dropped.
reasons. I think for legal reasons, you probably shouldn't describe how things work.
Right.
If you don't mind, how about I jump in there, fill them in on some
there you go.
pleasantness in a roundabout way? Yeah,
there you go.
For legal reasons. For legal reasons, Dave was doing kick-ass work. See the phenomenon out there, and I'm sure Dave, when we get to talk to him about it, he'll tell us that it reacts to people differently. Phenomenon everywhere reacts to everyone differently. It reacted to him, and the people that were there wanted it to react to them. Now, he had flown a drone over that very famous property, and the current billionaire owner got pissed. So, and something that was kind of bullshit and not bullshit, from my opinion and understanding, which isn't factual or legally binding, and nor am I speaking for Dave Miller right now. I'm only speaking for me, L. Dave. They were able to get him to, with the enticement of coming onto the ranch and signing an NDA, as they did to a lot of people. Once the NDAs are in place and they launched their show, which they then did, all that other evidence, everything else was on hold because they got you by the balls. But he had great footage. And when he was there, he got the phenomenon to react on camera. So much so that other people who you have seen on TV were calling him and saying, how did you get this to do this? Can we get this replicated? Can we get measurements? And while that's famous, and that story is definitely interesting, the basin as a whole, I mean, this isn't a unique phenomenon to one spread. Am I correct in that, Dave?
Right. It's not confined to a fence line. The first actual documented report of something strange happening out there was, and 1 week after the Declaration of Independence was signed in America, Father Escalante was on an expedition coming up from Texas, and he started to write about these fireballs that he was seeing in the sky. Now, this guy is a monk, so why is he going to lie or make stories up? They didn't know what UFOs were back then. They had no clue how to identify these things, so he called it what he saw it as, fireballs in the sky. So the documents of things have gone back way outside of just this ranch somehow becoming ground zero for this activity. And that's not the case of it at all. I mean, I've been there. I've actually gone to separate ranches from the former owner. I've been invited out. There's another ranch out in Nevada. It's owned by somebody who used to work for Mr. Bigelow, Robert Bigelow. He was actually into that ranch when he purchased the Skinwalker Ranch. So this stuff goes back in different directions and different but it all ties in a weird way,
Wait, are you saying?
Yeah.
Are you saying before Fugel bought it, Bigelow had it, and then before Bigelow had it, a friend of his owned it? Before Bigelow bought it?
No, the ranch in Nevada was the same type of area. It had UFO investigators out there, the whole nine. Paranoid. That's where NIDS was actually put together was at this ranch in Nevada. Okay. Then from that ranch, they bought the Skinwalker Ranch in the Uintah Basin, and he moved his team from where he was investigating at Mount Wilson in Nevada and moved the whole team up into Utah. So they were already going for like a year out at Mount Wilson before they came to the basin. This is something that Robert Bigelow is very passionate about. He spent well over, millions of dollars of his own money, personal cash, on buying these ranches and establishing NIDS, which was a very hardcore scientific team. You saw some of the guys in the documentaries that you made your way through. I know they're not the best documentaries, but you see these guys, and that's one of the problems that I have with all of this, with all of the basin, with everything that's going on, is I really, this doctor, that doctor, this scientist, this engineer, all these people go out to this place and they think that that they're going to lasso it in, that they're going to be the ones that say, hey, I'm going to give you an exact idea of what this thing is. You know, I'm going to break it all down. And they go out there and they literally get their asses kicked by this power, this force that is out there in the basin. It plays with people, man. It will toy with you. It will move your stuff around on you just to let you know that it's there. And then when you think you know what you're doing, you go back the following time and everything's in a different area and nothing's reacting to you. It's like a yo-yo effect of activity. And I mean straight paranormal activity. I don't believe in skinwalkers, man. That's all native folklore. And you know, skinwalkers are real. The real skinwalkers are Navajo black witches, basically satanic witches that go out and they do their stuff. It's so hard to get the locals there to talk about this stuff because they're afraid that they're going to get retaliation from these people. There's a cemetery out there that Dave is very familiar with, that I went out there, did some sessions out there, ghost box sessions and all. And this place is built for people who don't have money, right? We all know funerals cost a lot of money. Well, this place will actually allow people to go out there, dig their own hole and bury their own family members themselves. So these witches will come out there with the skinwalker tag and use the soil for some of their ritualistic things that they do, that they believe in. I don't believe in any of that stuff personally. I'm not into the skinwalker aspect of it, but there definitely is a paranormal power and UFOs. This place is just active.
You made a reference to when you walk there, you keep saying it, like, is it one entity you feel? Is it many? Like, or are you just saying it as the place itself, it feels you?
Exactly, man. It's like I get close to Bottle Hollow Reservoir as I'm driving in, and Bottle Hollow sits just east of, it's in between Skinwalker and Blind Frog Ranch.
Okay.
It's, you know, it's just out there, but I get next to this body of water and I just feel like it's welcoming me back. I know it sounds crazy, but as I've walked away from this place and I say, I'm done, the phone rings. Hey, do you want to come and do this TV show? You want to come out here and talk about this? You want to show us what you've seen, you know? And yeah, I do, man. I go out to this place. I was just out there on a tour of the neighboring property it's called UFO Valley Campground. It literally is on top of the old Bigelow Ranch, just hovers up right on top of it. And I go out there to do this thing, and as I'm rolling with my wife and my kid out there, and you know, gas is very expensive now. You know what I mean? So you're paying a lot of money to go out and do this stuff. And my wife just goes, why do you keep coming back? What is it that brings you back? And it's because I believe what I'm seeing. If I'm not seeing what I'm seeing, then there's something wrong up here. I need to go in and get it checked because I'm seeing activity out there. I'm filming it. I'm recording this stuff. Contact. I'm getting my name called out. You know, direct contact with this stuff. So it's obviously got a message, and it's like I feel like it's there for me whenever I want to go out there. But I try to avoid it, man. I do, because there's so much bullshit that comes with it. Every time I go out there and I put something out, I got people on my Facebook that follow me just because they hate me. You know, they want to see me fail, and I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I don't do this for them, man. I do this because it's almost like I feel like I'm called to the area, and I continue doing it. I know it's strange, but that's how
some of us understand that. Some of us know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, that's amazing.
Dave, L Dave told me that you've had multiple channels taken down before.
Oh, every time I put one up, it's taken down.
So you've got you've got a new one now, and I've put it in the description below. Do you mind if I show a UFO sighting from
No.
I've literally binged watched all your stuff today, everything.
He also has a book, which is not good for Ollie.
It's not good. No, but a book is not good for me. Before we show the footage, tell us about the book.
Well, the book tells a little bit about my beginnings into the paranormal and stuff that I went through in my younger years. And then it really focuses in on basically the betrayals of everything that happened to me in the basin, where people that I thought were my friends that were investigating with me were actually, I was actually sued for a great deal of money for breaking my non-disclosure. I'm sorry?
By an unnamed person.
Yeah, by an unnamed person.
Over an unnamed disclosure over an unnamed incident.
Right.
Are we allowed to show a video from your channel of somebody who speaks about you that may not, or maybe, I don't know, the unnamed person?
There you go. Show it. It's all good. I don't say where any of that stuff was recorded. It's all undisclosed locations.
Okay, so I'm going to show that first before we show the UFO footage, because Dave's not stating anything here. It's just me showing this. And yeah, but it's interesting. I spoke to my father about this area, and like us in the UK, we know a little bit about, if you don't know your geography, which I don't, you're not really going to know. My dad does, and my dad said, "Isn't that where most of the nuclear weapons was tested?" Is that right?
The Uintah Basin?
Nearby that area.
Out at Area 51, they've tested stuff out there, yes, but not in the basin.
How close is that to the basin?
7 hours, I think. It's a pretty good distance. I'm not sure on the mileage of what it is.
Dad, you're a fool. Absolute fool. Why do you even know? Go back in there. Like I say, us Brits, we may get it wrong sometimes. Not a lot.
It's all good, man. It's all good.
Sometimes. Right, here we go. Let me bring this up. So you've got the basin. Is it the beach? Is it file? Yes, that's the one I wanted to bring up. I hate Rich. No wonder you're getting rid of StreamYard. It's not the most user-friendly platform.
No, it's not that bad. You just only use it once or twice a week. That's why.
Yeah, that is why. There we go. Is that up? Is that up? Is that there?
Yeah.
There we go. So you speak. So you said that you've had a disagreement with somebody, but you won't name that person. But I will play this video.
All right, I'll good.
Long after this that I had signed a non-disclosure agreement. I breached the agreement, and soon after, the owner came out on a radio show voicing his displeasure.
We had one individual in particular that had signed a confidentiality agreement, an NDA, I don't know, sometime in the past, and ended up breaching that, ended up, not only violating our trust, but going out and making all sorts of false claims and statements that were really not only unkind and unprofessional, but highly inappropriate. And it's unfortunate when one bad actor or one person can really spoil the effort for everyone else involved. I mean, there's a number of old sayings here: only as strong as your weakest link, and one bad apple ruins the whole bunch, yada yada yada. But I think making sure that we are maintaining a level of professionalism, integrity, and discretion with the way that we are approaching these very serious topics is important.
They dress in suits.
Yeah. I wonder who that could be. I have no idea.
Could be anybody. Could be anybody.
It could be anybody.
But the interesting
Sounded
thing,
like Lazar.
Yes, Bob
Maybe it
Lazar.
the interesting thing is that the Blind Frog Ranch and the Skinwalker Ranch are in the basin, and the Skinwalker Ridge is where everything gets that famous name, and no one talks about that or the basin, right, Dave?
Right. I mean, that's one of the things that's so amazing about the UFO Valley campground is that actually is Skinwalker Ridge now. The people that own that property, which is 3,000 plus acres, it's a massive, massive property. They decided to open it up and let the public come in and get a look what's going on down and everything that you can see everything on all the ranches that are around there. You see right down into everything. And it's really, I think it's great. I think it's great that they did that, man. I root for them. I hope they make $1 million a year for the next 10 years. You know what I mean? If the place would have been opened the way that it is now, I surely wouldn't have been in any type of legal issue. And I would probably know a lot more than I do because I would just have sat there the whole time and just recorded and taken it all in. I mean, and they're super awesome people too. They want people to go on their adventures and see what they see, and that's what it is. But I will say about doing the Blind Frog Ranch show, one of the things that, I went out and met with Dwayne. He's the main star of the show. And I just went out there just rolling around with him with no cameras. It was before I signed and was hired on to do the show. We just rolled around and just talked about things. And I love Dwayne because he was like, I want to know what this is. If you see anything, you film it, put it out there. Let's learn what this is. And he's not trying to own any of that stuff. And he's not trying to keep it, trying to keep the ball in his court. He wants to know. And that right there to me is very special because it shows the integrity of who he is as a person, that he's interested in it. He wants to learn from it, but he also knows that he can't contain that stuff. As to where the other people that are in the area that I can't say no names, they seem to think that if it's outside of their fence line, then it's bullshit. And that's just not the case at all. That's not the case, man. Nobody owns this thing. And I think that's why it does react to people differently because, I mean, me and my wife were out there with my son camping. This was a few years back, and we actually had a traveler come home with us. To the fact where, us gung-ho Americans, I own quite a few firearms, to protect myself and my family. And I got up one night. I thought I grabbed my gun. It was actually my wife's gun, and I heard some stuff going on in the house. And as I'm sweeping through the house, my hair was like in a hornet's nest, and my boxers are creeping up on me. And I hit the light to turn the light on, and I've got a pink gun in my hand looking for an intruder in my house. And it actually was a very scary situation that turned into something pretty funny at the end of it. But I know it came home with us. It announced itself in my house. It was a whistler, and that's what this in particular entity is called. It's the whistler. It got our attention out on this property that we were at, and it came home with us, man. I mean, we use walkie-talkies because of the distance in between us. And as I was unpacking, I put the walkies on the counter where I have a little charging station. And about 5 o'clock in the morning, the squelch kicks off on my walkie, and it's just going off. And that wakes us up, and I'm sitting there thinking, what the hell is that? And the same whistle and the same tone, the same whistle that I heard out on this property. It sounds crazy, guys, but the same whistle came through the walkie. It came through the walkie. It was the same exact. I'm an ex-audio visual engineer from Las Vegas, Nevada. I've worked for 50 Cent, for Roseanne Barr, Penn and Teller, Chris Angel. Okay, I've got a very deep background when it comes to the entertainment industry, music especially, and tone. That was the same tone I heard out on the property. It was verbatim, almost the same exact whistle. It probably was the same exact whistle, but I heard it with my ears out on the property, and then I heard the same whistle come through the walkie. It was mind-blowing to jump up because I've heard so many of these reports because I lived in the basin for some time. And this was in the basin when this happened. My wife heard it.
Dave, when you say about the this thing latches on and it is it the hitchhiker that comes home with you, and thank you, Skinny Bob, I appreciate the super chat, my friend. What happened at home?
What happened when it came home with us?
Yeah,
that was it. We were in bed. We were just laying there. It was early in the morning, and that walkie went off. The squelch just, it just making that hissing sound, and that made me sit up because it was really loud. It was pretty close to us, and then I heard the whistle come through, and I knew, but I was so concerned with my son because his bedroom was on the other side of the house. So I grabbed my gun and I went straight to my kid's room to make sure my boy was okay. Because that's what I was getting at.
That's what I was getting at, because you said you had a family, and I'm just like,
right. Yep. That was my first thing. Get to my boy. It could have been any. My place was close to the highway, so you start thinking all this stuff. Maybe somebody broke in or whatever the case. I got to his room. He's sound asleep. Everything's fine, and I'm walking back, and then everything like waves coming in from the ocean starts to hit me. Hey, that was the same whistle, because I didn't think that when I first jumped up to go to my boy. It was like as I turned around and I start walking back, and it's very early in the morning. I'm becoming more alert and awake, and I'm like, wow, this shit just happened. That was this, I started putting it together. I actually have the second clip. I have it. I think it's on my phone somewhere, but I have it because I've just recently stumbled across it. The second time the walkie went off, I hit record on my phone, and I ran up to the walkie as it was going off. So I actually did capture some of it, but I didn't capture the first time. I mean, as an investigator, man, some of the people that hate me most will tell you, and the reason that they hate me most is when I'm out on these adventures, I always have a camera rolling. Something is always rolling. I don't miss much, man. You know what I mean? So after I became alert to what was going on, that's when I had my phone ready just in case something went off again. My phone, I actually have a night vision camera on my phone, so I can. I know,
Dave.
it's stupid,
Dave, I want to show you tent scene. It's one of the most intriguing videos that I've seen. I've watched all of them, but I think this is one of the most, for me, who's into the lights in the sky.
Yeah.
This one kind of like stuck out for me. So I really want to play this video, if you don't mind, from your channel, and then I'd like you to just the guys might ask questions on the back of it, but I want you to just take us through it, if you wouldn't mind.
It all depends, because some of those videos were used against me in my lawsuit, so I might not be able to comment exactly on what it is.
But this is but it's on your channel. It's there.
Yeah, it's on my channel. Right. I'll tell you what it is I'm seeing.
Okay.
But I can't tell you where it is that I saw it.
Would you be able to tell us it?
Location.
Would you be able to tell us if this is one of them that's being used against you in a lawsuit?
Yes, sir, it is. All that stuff that I put out was used against me and named in my lawsuit. And my lawsuit was about that thick. It was really a lot of papers, and most of it all Facebook stuff too. It was very insane to be sued for. And I mean, I was in a court in front of a judge, you know, with 4 attorneys. There was 4 of them. I don't even know. These guys had so much money that I'd never even seen the material that their suits were made out of, you know. And then there was just me on the other side of the courtroom sitting by myself. So, but yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, roll it, man. Well, I'll do the best I can.
As long as we don't get into trouble, mate. You know, I don't want to be responsible for that.
Right. No, you show whatever you want. I don't know if I can comment on it or not.
Because I have to say that this piece I found extremely interesting. And thank you, Ibna. I appreciate the $5 super chat, my friend.
What's the name of the channel?
The channel,
Basin Files?
The Basin Files. Thank you.
Yeah, it is in the description. And is this like your 4th attempt of the channel, Dave?
I think this is like my 5th or 6th channel. It'll get taken down. I know it will. Somebody will get it taken. They just do me like that, man. I don't know. They just get me removed. They report me. They copyright my videos.
It's what happens when skinwalkers in suits with teams of attorneys don't like you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's sad.
It is sad, Rich.
Wait, are you like, did you ever say anything to make people mad or talk about people in a hateful way for this?
Don't answer that.
All the time, man. That's one of the things that they hated. Well, they started, right? They started. I used to host a podcast, and there was some very, I'll say her first name. There was one lady named Erica, who's very well known in the UFO world.
Luke's?
Maybe. Yeah.
It might be. Oh, I know her ex-husband and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yes. But her and her husband started in on me, and I went to town on them, man. You know, that's one of the things growing up on the East Coast. We used to hack on each other as kids, you know, your mama jokes and all that stuff.
Sure.
So I have said some miserable things back after. But to be honest with you, man, I'll tell you honestly, after all of this stuff, I don't have anything. I'm actually sorry that I fought with Eric DeLukes over anything. There was no need to fight with any of these people. Everybody was being manipulated and twisted in one way or another. And I think that they were kind of told to hate me. You know what I mean? Because I was the one that I broke a non-disclosure agreement, and I'll talk to you about why I did that.
They were potentially spun up, maybe allegedly, hearsay.
Right. And you know, one of the things that I agreed not to talk about the things that I was witnessing and recording. With it being a closed situation. But then when they told me that they were going to do a TV show, I thought, well, if you're disclosing, why do I have to remain silent? I have great footage. I've got 20 gigs of footage. I recorded everything that I do out there. So
you set up a tent out there. You camp out there.
Yeah, I camped out. I lived out there. I camped out there. I just love the area. I mean, I believe in this stuff, guys. I know a lot of people think that I've just seen so much shit that I cannot describe to you. I can't explain it to you exactly what it is that I'm looking at. But I'm recording it. I'm filming it. I'm watching it, and it's just these anomalies, these lights. I mean, the first UFO I saw out there, I sprained both of my forearms because I was sitting in a car holding my steering wheel so tight that as I'm screaming back to the guy that's in the car with me, is that a UFO? Is that a fucking UFO? I mean, I remember screaming this, and it spins out and it just disappears right in front of us like a magic trick. And the dude that's with me is so in shock that all he could say was gone, gone, gone. When it spun out, we were both in shock. And when I let go of the wheel, I realized that I sprained my forearms. For the rest of the night, I couldn't make a fist, man. I was my arms were so. But that's the shock. That's the energy of this stuff. That it brings out, man. I'm not here to convince anybody anything. I want to say that.
So Dave, I'm gonna play this one, and this is we can see the audience will see that you are camping in your tent, and you come out of the tent for this UFO that you've seen in your tent. I believe, is that right? This one that this one that you titled UFO 2021. I need to help you out with titling your YouTube videos.
I know exactly what it is. That video is me checking on my son who's in the tent with night vision. I just happened to I wanted to see if I was going to catch him and his buddy outside of their tent when they were supposed to be in their tent. I thought I heard some rucks, some moving around. So I took my night vision and I'm looking around the tent to see if I can see them moving around. And I just happened to pan up, and that's it. Yeah,
I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna bring it up full screen because it's interesting.
Hey, very.
Oh, I've got movement. What the fuck is that? Oh my god.
Yeah.
What is that thing? I gotta get back out. Let me chill. I'm gonna try and catch this thing. We got some mass. Something really big going overhead.
Do you actually see it?
Oh yeah. At the beginning, I didn't see it again after.
Oh, okay.
Try and catch this thing.
But
what kind of camera is that?
It is a Psionics Aurora. It's like a very, very low light censored camera. Not quite night vision, but very, 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 very sensitive to any type of light.
This is the slow-mo when you're inside. Are you inside the tent here, and this is through the webbing or what have you?
Right. This is me outside of the tent, actually, trying to catch my kid sneaking around, but he was actually in the tent. And I just looked up, and in the bottom left-hand corner, that movement caught my eye. So that's when I go, oh shit, we got movement. And I just started looking at it. And then it's a perfect arrow spear flying over. It's in the air. It's in the shape of an arrow as it's going over. You can see right there that it almost looks like a stealth fighter going over, but there's no sound. There's no nothing. There's nothing.
Can it be a flock of birds?
No. I've had this argument with people. Somebody goes, "Oh, that's a bird flapping swing." On the footage that the program that I use to edit the video, I could really blow it up really big. And on my monitor's 47-inch monitor, so I can see very well. It basically just looks like an arrowhead going over. One of my friends watched this clip and he goes,
"Look at that."
He goes, "Dude, it looks like it's cloaked." You know what I mean?
But you're looking through fabric right here too, right?
No, I'm outside right there.
Oh, I thought Ollie said, were you looking through
No,
the tent?
I assumed that. I assumed he was in a tent.
Yeah. No, I was checking on my boy in the tent.
So
my son and his friend were sleeping in the tent.
Well,
but it definitely.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's all good, man. It was like almost like an arrowhead almost going on, but it was big, man. That thing is big going across the sky. If that was a jet or any type of plane, you would hear it in the video. And unfortunately, I put the little music, the little ambient sound in the background to try and make the video interesting for people to watch. Because if you just put stuff out there, not a lot of people want to see it. So I try to make my videos interesting, with some sound effects as far as like the music goes,
Yeah, that's a bad idea.
I know, man. I know. people
It
go,
is,
oh,
'cause-
if he can do that, then he makes this, you know. But
No, they think you're covering up like a conversation. Oh, people are going to believe this is UFOs if I keep, like background chatter
right,
that may,
right.
yeah, sure.
And I still have the original footage too. I have the original footage too. So if anybody wants that, I can pull it up.
It did look like on the left side of that, because in my mind, I'm thinking it's probably birds. It looked like there was a little bit of movement. Like it looked like it was almost like birds were fanning out a little bit. I mean, it kind of looked like there was a little movement.
Absolutely. I could imagine somebody thinking that way, but I'm a bird hunter. I like pheasant and I like goose and all that stuff. And now you talk about the only type of birds that fly in those type of formations like that would be like a flock of goose or geese, whatever you want to call them, that fly in an arrow shape like that. I saw it, man. And they don't normally fly at night anyways. Geese pretty much ground themselves. They're not really nocturnal birds.
What time was it when you captured that?
I think that was like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, if I remember right.
What month?
2021.
It was April. I think April.
April. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
It was 2021 though, wasn't it? It was last year.
Yeah.
Last year. Yeah.
It's an interesting video, that's for sure.
I know it's got, you know what, and anybody that thinks that I never try to convince anybody that is something that they don't want to believe it is. Whether it's ghosts, UFOs, whatever the case, I'm not that guy that wants to go, hey, you've got to believe this. I just want people to look at it. You know what I mean?
Dave, I will say this, and don't take this the wrong way. I've put it through a filter. It's definitely in the video, as far as I can see. But I'm not a professional when it comes to analyzing fake videos. But as far as I can see, there's a lot of. I used to debunk. That's what my channel used to be.
Right.
That's real. Whatever is in that footage is real. So whatever flies over,
it's there.
It's there. It's 100% there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What I'm interested in is, what have you, through your research through the last 4 years, and I do maybe L Dave can touch on what's going on with the person that doesn't like you there, that may have a financial
there's
problem
a handful.
with you.
There's a handful.
I'd like to get onto that, but Dave might want to touch on that in the way that he possibly, without me doing it, that could get people into trouble. But what's the most intriguing thing that you've felt, witnessed, whatever, in that area
that you can talk
about,
and
where
that you can talk about?
There's a lot. There's a lot of crazy.
Well, give us it.
I was with somebody doing spirit box sessions. That's on a very popular television show.
Did you say spirit walk sessions?
Yeah, like spirit box, like ghost box.
Oh yeah.
You know,
with the
ITC. And I think the reason why I think the reason why this one sticks out of my brain so much is because I saw the fear. I saw how afraid this person was as they were getting. I was asking questions, and if you guys are into that stuff and you believe in it, you understand that as it happens, you don't always hear everything.
Was this
the first time?
Was this at Blind Frog or was this at Skinwalker?
Don't answer.
It probably wasn't at Blind Frog. It probably wasn't.
Probably wasn't at Blind Frog. Okay. Yeah.
What was the story again? That is very vague and could happen really anywhere, but potentially in the basin, right?
Yeah, it was in the basin for sure.
Yeah.
But I could see the fear on this guy's face, and as I went back and started analyzing the questions and the answers that were coming out of the box, I think I sent it to you, Dave.
No, I've seen. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, it's me and another individual.
It could happen. It could happen anywhere in the basin, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But I saw this guy, the fear on his face, and then I started to analyze it and listen to what it was saying, and it was direct stuff. I mean, direct stuff to him. telling us to beware of a certain individual who may own a place out there. All name confirmation that I didn't hear it as it was happening because I was just watching. You know, he goes, "Oh my God, I've got the chills. I'm freaking out right now." You know, and I was like, "Well, why?" That's what I'm thinking. Why? Because I don't hear anything yet. You know, I don't hear anything coming through directly. That's you know, oh wow, did you hear that? And then it says his name. I was like, "Are you mad at so and so?" And it comes out perfect. It says his name, and I go, you know, I'm like, "Holy shit, man! You had to hear that, right? You heard your name," and I could just see how petrified he was. So that's one of the things that that stick out to me because I could see the fear that these things can instill in people.
Are you saying
I know
the spirit box told you to be aware of a certain person, a real person?
Oh man, dude, I've got it recorded. I've got it where I put the words down on the bottom to where you can hear it as it's saying it. It tells me to steer clear. And that's the word. Steer clear of so and so. That's it. Tells me straight up. And then it called the guy that I was with an MFer, and it just was like it was just very, very turbulent. If you guys have watched any type of spirit box sessions, it was very turbulent. And as I went back through the audio and started listening to what it was saying, then I understood why he was feeling what he was feeling because it was basically just letting him know that it didn't like him.
Just that it didn't like him, not nothing else. So
it just did not like him, man.
Depending on the information that you have and the person that it might be, it may have taken things a little bit further with him later on.
Right, and what he heard, you know, could have been completely different.
Which makes more sense why he reacted that way.
We don't know what we're tapping into, man, with doing this stuff. You know, the entities, the interdimensionals, whatever people want to call these things, there's definitely an energy there that can communicate with us. If you guys have done any type of spirit box sessions or ITC, instrumental transcommunication is actually what it's called. If you've done it, you know, yes, there's a lot of probability that a lot of it could just be radio bleed through and all that. There's always that chance. But when you really connect with something and it's giving you those direct messages or answers to your questions, you just know that you're connected, right? It's like our conversation right now. You throw out a question and I do my best to answer. It's almost like you're having a conversation. These things in the basin, when they want you to know something, they let you know it. And you feel it. It's an amazing place, man, that's turning into a circus now. It really is.
Well,
unfortunately.
Unfortunately, what?
Unfortunately,
Lee's had to duck out. By the way, people. He said he's got a child on the loose. His little boys woke up. Basically, he'll be back.
I've got one of those. But it's like one of the things that I have a problem with the basin and the way that these guys approach it. Just because somebody has a doctor and they're this or that, they're a scientist, whatever. There's so much stuff that's possibly overlooked because I believe that a very well-trained paranormal investigator is just as good as any scientist, if not better, because they identify with, and I'm not a paranormal investigator, guys. I've been around it and I've seen how these people react and how they go out and they handle these situations, how they get results. They get scientific readings from their EMF meters. They're proving that there's some type of force involved in this activity. Well, the basin doesn't seem to have that, does it? You watch all these television shows and all these scientists and doctors are there with their proper suits and their ties, and they're not giving anything to anybody. But you send Zach Bagans or some of these crews out there that do their show, and they get right down to it, man. You know, and I'm not trying to promote Ghost Adventures or anything. I'm just using them because I believe that I believe that the Ghost Adventures crew, even though they do a lot of stuff on TV, they're probably one of the best, if not the best team of paranormal investigators that travel around and get results, man. So, if you guys hate Ghost Adventures, I'm sorry, but I really respect them for what they do, and they've been doing it for a long time. So, yeah, turn those guys loose in the basin. Let's see what happens.
Right.
You know what I mean? Why not? Why not?
They went over to the Stardust Ranch. That's where they went. It was like
I talked with John. The guy that used to own it.
Yeah.
He recently passed away. He was the guy that was claiming to kill the aliens with his samurai sword.
His machete.
Yeah,
whatever. And everything disappears once you chop the head off, like the blood and the guts. It all disappears.
Right. Right. Perfect timing. But and you see these shows that are out there. Another thing I will say again on Ghost Adventures to my respect level of them. I've watched shows of them where they've gone to places and they say, yeah, these people are crazy. There's nothing going on here, and those guys spend a whole week there filming and their money and all that stuff. And they go out and they film. And then at the end of the show, they're basically like, there's something wrong with these people. There's nothing, there's no activity here. And they try to get the people counseling or help, because people do. Paranormal people, I'm sure I sound crazy to a lot of people that are listening right now because I'm trying to explain what it is that I see out there, and people can laugh at that and say, this is completely bullshit. It doesn't work. That's fine if you believe that. I'm not going to try to convince anybody. It's too much energy. It's like trying to tell an atheist that God's real. You know what I mean? It's like, listen, man, I don't want to argue with people about that don't believe it. I just don't have the energy to. If you tell me that you don't believe in God, believe me, dude, I'm not going to talk to you about it because I'm just going to go on my way.
What I don't seem to understand is, and this is through the conversations with L. Dave as well, and I'm probably going to let L. Dave take over because I'm probably going to say I may make you feel uncomfortable, but that's what I do. You keep skirting around the issue with somebody having a problem with you that's on that ranch, an important person that's on that ranch right now. What I want to know, without you kind of telling us exactly and getting into trouble, because why was that? What did you do that pissed the big dick off?
Wait. Allegedly, there may have been a contract violation. Allegedly, there may have been a settlement, which we cannot talk about that for the benefit of potentially someone on this show. I don't know who that would be or what that would be in regards to. That being said, we should really shift that topic.
So you're saying, Dave, that somebody else may have been on the show?
I didn't say that at all. I didn't say anything. I said allegedly. I don't know facts. We don't know facts. And we would all like our channels to stay up and keep moving. So we should change those facts. Or not change those facts. We should change the topic. What do you think's really going on in the Uintah Basin as a whole?
Oh, absolutely. I believe that you could call it a Stargate. There's some type of activity that's drawing cosmic attention. One night, man, I'm out there with one of the guys that was in that hunt for the Skinwalker movie. His name's Ryan Layton. He's like the original paranormal investigator that went out to the ranch when these people started reporting having issues. Well, we're just above the area that happened at. We're on a separate ranch called Space Wolf Research Ranch that I used to be a ranch manager at. We were just out there watching the sky, man. And basically, you guys have played pool before, but basically what we saw was, it was almost like a pool break. And all of these stars started to move around in the sky. And I'm sitting there freaking out. I actually recorded some of the audio because we weren't set up for it. We weren't ready to start recording video and all that stuff. So thank you, dear. We we start watching this stuff, and this guy's 20 years out there doing this stuff. He was just as amazed as I was. I can't tell you, and somebody said something to where it looked like it was like almost intergalactic warfare. Like it looked like you're watching stars attack each other, and then they just went away from each other. Whatever that was, it could have very much well been man-made. You know what I mean? We could have been witnessing some secret military shit going on in the sky, satellites or whatever the case. You know, Elon Musk got a lot of money and he's got a lot of cool toys, so it could have possibly been something to that effect. But when you're out there and you're watching this stuff, you know, it has an effect on you. I don't think that everything I see in the sky is aliens and all that shit. You know, my son, who's just about to turn 10 years old, had one of the best theories on UFOs to me whatsoever, because I believe, and I'm sorry, my theories sound silly to anybody, but I like oceanic life. You know what I mean? You look at the jellyfish and you see these things and they're glowing and lit up underwater, and you're like, that's simply fucking amazing. When you see that, you're like, how does that happen? What is this thing? And my boy says to me, he goes, Dad, what if the UFOs are alive? What if the UFOs themselves are the aliens? Right, like a jellyfish, man. You know, why can't there be a space jellyfish that comes into our atmosphere and then just floats back off into space? Kind of like you see with oceanic stuff on Discovery Channel at 2:00 in the morning when you're flipping through. You know, you're like, wow, that looks really cool. But my boy came to me with that, and I'm like, you know what, man? That's one of the greatest things I've ever heard. It could possibly much well be that the UFO is a living organism and is coming in to see us and then leaving. You know,
or if you're a flat earther, a jellyfish escapes from space.
Very true.
Made it through the atmosphere. Well, no atmosphere, whatever it is.
Right.
The dome.
Right.
There's a leak.
The dome.
But I'll touch back on something that you asked. Why are they mad? It's
good.
Very, very simple, dude. Very, very simple. You've had people mad at you, right, in the past or whatever. Have you ever had a $1 million rich billionaire female mad at you?
No, but I wish I had.
Yeah, actually I have.
Well, so they have that money, and when I simply told this individual no, I was asked to take down a drone video, and I said no. And I think I was probably the first person in this individual's life to ever tell him no. He didn't like that, and it started very rough, you know, after that. And then the threats and everything. My family was threatened. I've still got every text message that was ever sent to me. You know, do you realize what we can do to you? Kind of shit. You know what I mean?
What was on the drone video that's not on Google Earth or Maps?
Well, the video went viral. Jeremy Corbell. Jeremy Corbell.
Live.
It took off, dude.
It was live?
It took off. It took off. It had like 100,000 views in, I don't know, 2.5 weeks.
But why would they be upset with you over that? I get it. It's their property, but we can go online and look at the property too.
Oh, yeah, I know. But
you can look at a snapshot from a satellite that was taken to view the property.
Right.
Yeah, this gave you more.
I was charged with voyeurism and invasion of privacy and all kinds of shit.
Were you under 50 feet?
No, man. I wasn't.
So legally,
I was
think
up
you're
there.
allowed
to. So stop, Dave, and because we got to be careful with this line. I mean, serious. Like, it's one thing to joke, and I know people online won't get it.
Dave, can I just state this for the audience that Dave is really good mates with Dave Miller. He's not like the reason why Dave's doing this. He brought his good mate on, so that is why Dave's saying this. So don't hate him in the chat.
Dave will go to the fences with an "I don't give a fuck," and I don't want to see the guy get drugged back. back to court for hundreds of thousands of dollars and then never have a channel that can stay stable. And when you're dealing with people with money and real power, they don't give a fuck. Rules don't apply. Rules don't apply when the judge is your cousin. Rules don't apply when you have, $900 an hour New York City attorneys on the clock that are already paid up. And he's like, hey, you know what? Rich from GUFON asked the wrong question. I never want him to have a channel again. In fact, I want you to call YouTube. In fact, get me a message with YouTube. And I'm gonna talk to their head rep, because guys like that can.
Yeah.
And there's no recourse. It doesn't matter. Like, what it was he got a bug up his ass. What's his is his, and he wants all of it. He doesn't even want you to look at it without paying him. That's what it really comes down to. And if you've never done business with these kind of people, and I told Dave then, when it was like, if you remember that, Dave, we were chatting when the thing, I was like, dude, he doesn't give a fuck what he gets. He wants to show you how big his dick is. That's all.
My instincts were right. I knew. I'm not going to say who it is, but I think I know who it is. But my instincts are right.
And in regards to this interview, it is not worse. And one, you don't want to give that fucking guy credit for anything. Two, it's just not worth saying the name, because then now we're stepping on things.
I don't.
Yeah,
I can't give credit for anything. I've not seen him produce shit. I've not
never heard of the cock wallop. Yeah, never heard of him.
Yeah, I've never seen anything that even, I'll be honest, man. They've got their show. They do their show. I'll take it to the grave, man. I've never watched it. I've watched like the first episode, and I'm just so sick to my stomach. I was like, yeah, that's it. And there are a few episodes, 4 episodes in, or 4 seasons in, or whatever now. And I'm like, I keep waiting. I'm like, okay, so one of these days they're going to come out, and there's going to be this news all over all over ABC or whatever. Hey, these guys found this stuff on their show, and I never see shit. And I don't see anything from people in the paranormal community saying, hey, did you see this, or did you see what they put out? I don't hear nothing about this thing, man. So they're obviously not fishing too well.
All they do is have technical issues every show. That's it. Camera stopped working. GPS didn't track. It's always something silly. Third grade experiments.
And I mean, the kicker is allegedly, I have seen footage that was taken from a place that's now on a TV show that was infinitely better than anything the TV show's ever fucking put out. And it was by a guy that I kind of know. I should try and get him on this show sometime. But so what do you really think of the basin, man? And what do you think? Where do you think things need to go with the basin, research wise? Or
I seriously believe that any team that is out there with their PhDs and whatever the case, fine, more power to them. But if these guys don't start including legitimate paranormal investigators out on their properties, they're never going to get an answer. That's the key that's missing. Is you know very well, Dave, that science and the paranormal hate each other. Science is always laughing at the paranormal, and the paranormal is still there doing its thing. And there's legitimate investigators out there that could really help this place out. The problem is that they want, like, it's a dick contest. They want to show their dick. They think that because they've got a bunch of letters in front of their name that it justifies them going out. And I mean, you go see these guys talk at these UFO conventions. What the fuck? What footage do they have? Have you seen any of these doctor guys present anything? No, they're just regurgitating somebody else's footage, somebody else's information. That's one of the things too, man, about all of these ranches. Around each one, there's a small group of people that are like groupies, like rock star groupies, and they'll do anything that they can to defend. You got team this ranch, team that ranch, team this ranch. And all these people pretend like they're friends, but the minute they turn their back, dude, they're talking shit and stabbing each other in the back. It's a mess, man. It really is a mess. If they would just bring some decent investigators out there, whatever they find is whatever they find. I just want them to try to narrow it down a little bit. If you watch one of these shows, I worked on the Blind Frog Ranch show. and I got a lot of hate for it. But I'll tell you what, man, and I'm not just because I'm on the show, guys. I'm telling you the truth. Everybody on that cast and everybody behind the camera, there was nights out there that they were just stargazing and looking at the UFOs and checking out the stuff and just enjoying what they're doing. They want to see it. They love what they're doing out there. So it's very wholehearted, you know, that they're involved in it and they believe in this stuff. They're not trying to tell people. They have tours. You want to go out there? Hey, go have a look. If you can find something out there, they appreciate that. They want the information. And it's just everything on the other side of the fence is completely different with the other location. They don't want anybody around. They want to control it. They want to do it. Dwayne and his team out at Blind Frog are some very cool guys. If you're not familiar with them, you know what I mean? And he's so likable. You know what I mean? He's just a likable guy.
I have no idea.
Dave, but and Dank, thank you very much for becoming a member, mate. most fucking tremendous. You sexy man with great logo. Who Dave? Who can we trust though when it comes to people that research that place? Because you're saying that we need to bring some great scientists, some great people into that area. Who are those people? Who could you actually bring? Who would you say? Let's bring these people. Dave,
man,
Rich. Oh
I
my
should
God.
go. I said that today. I should go. They should have somebody like me there.
Dave, make that happen. Boys, make
Absolutely.
that happen. I can't be there. I'm in the UK. You can fly me out.
You should see the new equipment I'm getting built by Max.
Oh God, yes.
These people don't know about that yet. I have a NASA engineer friends, and I have a lot of friends.
Rich knows. Rich was on with one of your NASA
James,
engineer friends.
So another guy.
You didn't mean Max. Max is cool.
Well, it's not
James
just
is cool as well, but James is a Klingon.
Yeah, James is a Klingon. So it's not just Max. So I think I told you about this, Dave. My NASA buddies got together with other NASA buddies, and they view this as a very unique challenge. So they've been ordering the sensors and stuff from their distributors to find its way into my position.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's good.
Absolutely. I mean, but that's exactly what I'm talking about. That's what you need. You need somebody with the desire, and you got a few connections to help you get some better gear. You know, man, I don't really have a list of people. You know, like I say, I'm not a paranormal investigator, but I've been around some very qualified people that I would love to go out and experience these things in the basin with and see what they think of it, what their opinion is. I respect paranormal investigators. I truly do. Even if they're just weekend warrior fans of it, at least they're out looking for the activity. How do we know what this stuff is if we're just turning our head to it? You know, we turn our cheek like a scientist does, because he can't get data off of EVPs or whatever the case. They instantly call that all garbage. When, man, I've recorded some things, some voices coming through, and I can't tell you, I know it wasn't me, and I was the only one there. You know what I mean? So if you're getting messages from things, and you get a paranormal investigator out there to try and help break it down, it's these guys are going to keep going in circles until they get the qualified type of team put together to go out there and do this. I'm not the person to put the team together, but I'm the person that says this is what this place needs. It truly needs qualified paranormal investigators involved.
Dave, forget the paranormal for a second. And the whole interest in the subject, and anybody that's just wanting to get into it. How do you make money in what you're doing? And what I'm asking you there is for anybody who's interested. So you told me that, and I've watched your YouTube channel. That's brand new up. You have a different job completely to this on the side.
Oh, my profession. Yeah, my profession this is my calling, not my profession.
Yeah, so I'm asking. I think what I'm asking here is, how does one make money off the Skinwalker subject?
I don't make any money off of it. I spend a lot of money. I spend a lot of money to go out and do what I do. It's just my passion.
But how easy is it to make money off the Skinwalker subject?
I don't think that there's anybody out there making money off of it other than the people that own the ranches. To be honest with you, I don't think that there's any.
So you have to own the
money.
ranch to be the one to make the money.
Well, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like if you record something, they're going to do everything they can to sue you to prevent you from putting it out. So you don't get any of the fame, you know what I mean, or whatever comes with that capture of putting something out. They're going to do everything they can to try. I mean, I've gotten cease and desist.
You've got cease and desist.
Oh yeah, I collect them, dude.
Oh,
Because I talk about this stuff. Yeah, I mean they don't. They're watching right now. I guarantee it. Guarantee it. Or they will be.
I saw them in the chat.
I can't believe you got under their skin that bad. I mean, it's just amazing to me.
I don't do this for fame. I don't do this. I mean, this is an honor for me to come here and sit and talk with you guys about this stuff. I love this stuff. I don't know, man. The reason I do this,
I can tell.
I really do. I really love this stuff. I since I'm a little kid, I've always believed that there's this type of energy or whatever the case, right? It's been a part of my life. And I feel like I've been pulled to this place and I've gone through a lot of shit and a lot of fights with a lot of sour ass people. And they hate when there's something happening and they're not a part of it. You know, I could tell, like when I know every time that I was on season 2 for Blind Frog Ranch on Discovery Plus, got to plug the show. But every time I was on it, I know that when my face was on the screen, somebody somewhere was having a fucking stomachache because I was on TV, right? And I don't try to do that, guys. I don't try to do it. I've never auditioned. I've never sent a tape in. They contact me. And I think that that's part of the reason why is maybe they sense that I'm just a guy trying to find some answers to this stuff, man.
Because you tell it like it is. That's why. Right, man. I'm not trying to butter anybody up, and I sure don't want to try to convince anybody that this stuff is real. If people go out there with a closed mind, you're absolutely not going to see anything. You're not going to experience this beautiful, beautiful place, and it is very cool. The locals are cool, but I can see them getting a little bit, kind of getting sick of this shit. You know what I mean? People running through their backyards trying to get I was one of those people for a minute. I actually, and I told the people that actually owned the UFO Valley campground, I told them, hey, I trespassed on your property. I did. I told them that. I said, I came out here one time, and it literally was on their property one time. It was right before the drone took flight, and I was on their property. And I told them, I said, you know what? I came out here. I'm sorry I did that. This is 3 years ago. You know what I mean? 3 years ago. I told them, I said, I'm sorry I did that, but it's just like I was just being told to do it. Like I was being pulled in this area to do it. And we saw some amazing, amazing things that night. But again, is it because, there's a whole line of people that go out there and do stupid shit. Like they'll go out there and do DMT, which is like a hallucinogenic drug. They'll go out there and take drugs, and then they'll write book after book after book after book after book of all these UFOs and all these big feet that they saw while they were out there. And they leave out the part that they took drugs to see this shit. I'm not that guy, man. You know what I mean? I'm not that guy. And as soon as I found out these people were doing that stuff, and they're some of the biggest haters that I got out there. And one of them lives in Wisconsin and the other one lives in Vegas. That's the best I'll do. I won't say their names. Look at Dave. Dave's getting ready to pause. He's like, oh, don't say that.
Don't do it.
But I'm not saying no names. They don't deserve their names to be said, to be honest.
No, they don't.
I mean,
they're pieces of shit,
But they seriously put book after book after book out about all of these experiences that they've had, but there's no evidence.
Right.
And when they do put shit out, it's like the blurriest piece of shit photo intentionally blurred out. You know what I mean? It's just like the most, like, for whatever reason. I mean, I got a lot of money in my cameras. I got a Nikon P1000. It's like they call it the creeper cam because you can really zoom in on shit from a long ways away. But I use that. If my stuff's coming in blurry, man, I don't want to put it out. I want it as clear as possible for you guys. What anybody that watches any video I put out, I want it as clear as absolutely possible of what it is I'm trying to show. And if the video sucks, you know, hey man, this is what I caught. You know what I mean? I know it's not very exciting, but that's what I caught. That's pretty much simple of it.
Mm-hmm. Man, I gotta say, Ollie, doesn't he? You sound just like me. Everything you're saying is exactly how I speak and the way I am. It's amazing. Yeah, this is a great show. I'm just glad I'm a part of it. Thanks for sharing all this stuff.
No, absolutely, man. I'm glad. I'm honored to be here, guys. I truly am.
Interesting, because you're actually boots on the ground, and I respect that. You've been doing it for 4 years that way, right?
Yep. I go out there as much as I possibly can, even now that gas is like $6 a gallon. I don't live in the Uintah Basin anymore. I live there. I don't live there now. I'm actually 2 hours away from it. So when I travel out there, it's a couple-hour drive. It's a beautiful drive.
But you put your time in. I mean, what else are you going to see while you're out there, right? I mean,
and it's like recently I went to one other location that wasn't. There was Mount Wilson, but that was still kind of in the Bob Bigelow kind of thing, you know, with the paranormal ranches. And it was connected, so I went there. But I've done like one thing outside of this area since then. I very much focus and concentrate on specifics of the Uintah Basin. I'm not really interested in anything else.
Wow.
For whatever reason, that's where my focus is. I'm not even interested in Area 51 anymore. I'm really not, man.
Let me ask, what is your family tree then? Does it go back into indigenous times? I mean, is that how? I mean, maybe you're connected to the land through blood.
I couldn't tell you. I don't know. I know that I don't think that I had any family in this area until '84. We moved to Utah in 1984. So my father's job, I was all over the country, and then in '84 he retired from Pan American Airlines, and he moved us here. And I mean, I can remember coming out into the basin so long ago that, I mean, it was just very different back then from what it is now, man. Like a little one-horse town, you know.
Do you dream of this stuff? Are you having visions? I mean, I know you feel like
I have.
You have. Okay.
I have had some extremely intense. There's a grove of like Russian olive trees that are on one of these ranches. It's not Blind Frog. It's a different ranch. But I had this dream, man, and it was really scary. That this is a really weird story too. Excuse me. There was this almost blackish type of figure moving very quickly through these trees, and like it was coming to get me. And I called the person that was in charge of this location, the ranch at the time, and I told them about it, and they had me out. And I went back out to the ranch, and we got in one of these little UTV side-by-side vehicles, and we went out through the trees. And you know, he was very like, where did it happen? What was going on? Da da da. So I told him everything that I could remember from the dream, and pretty much was there for a few hours, and then I left the ranch. Well, I talked about this individual earlier. Ryan Layton told me that when he first went to the location and met with the owner, the Sherman, I can't remember his name, the Sherman guy, the farmer. For whatever reason, I can't remember his name right now. It's blank. But he was out there investigating him as this reports was going on. And he told him that this black figure was rushing through those olive trees. Now, I didn't know anything about that till probably 6-7 months after I had been out there explaining to these guys what my dream was. And come to find out that there was already somebody else out there talking about it. Now, this isn't in the press. It wasn't in any books. It wasn't in any of the documentaries. It wasn't talked about. This was a private conversation between Ryan Layton and the Sherman farmer, and he told me about it months after I was there. So it was kind of like surreal to me, right? That I dreamed about this predator, black-looking figure moving through these trees coming to get me, and then was told about the same type of thing. It could be coincidence. Absolutely could be coincidence. But the story is so similar, how it moved and how fast it was going through those olive trees. And if you guys know, the olive trees are they're really creepy looking trees, but they're very close together. And if you try to run through them, it's not a very comfortable thing at all. You're going to get yourself chewed up. But yeah, I mean, just very, very odd. But, you know, some things like that, when it's like the place is telling you stories. Like, you know, I went to them and said, I dreamed this, and then months later it comes in. So obviously somebody else had said something to them about it, because they wanted to get they actually had me go out there, and I go onto the property to show them exact locations of where it was. Now, I don't know what that information was used for, but it was cool for me to go out there and be a part of it. You know, I was very happy with that stuff. I don't have any ill feelings towards any of those guys, even after everything. I don't have any hard feelings towards them. I just think that they do shit wrong.
Right. And you're calling them out on it, maybe, right?
Right. I think that they do shit wrong. I think that until they bring out a serious, and I'm not talking about like a psychic or any of that kind of stuff.
Sure.
I'm talking about somebody that goes out with their instruments and gets a vibe. You know, of course, maybe they're a little bit psychic. They're in tune with their areas and all that stuff. But you know, that's a whole bunch of different shit with the remote viewers and all that stuff. I mean, that stuff is out there, but our government actually did research on it. And, you know, Men Who Stare at Goats, that movie, you've seen that, you know, that shit is real. But I don't know anything about it. I'm just saying that, you know, we've had that type of investigator and all that stuff. Get a paranormal team out there, man. Get somebody on your team that you can at least be open to it. Because I think maybe they don't want to know. Maybe they want to go another season and another season and another season, and, you know, and just keep drawing it out.
Dave,
maybe
I think it's obvious who you've had run-ins with.
I don't think it's obvious at all.
No,
not
obvious at all.
No, but have you ever had a run-in with Corbell?
He fucking hates me.
Does he?
Okay,
he hates everybody.
So can we speak about that? Because Rich loves Corbell. Rich is like Rich is Corbell's. You got to be careful because Rich is Corbell's best friend.
I've got no problems with the guy.
Rich can ring him when he's having his dinner and still have a conversation, and he will pick up the phone. Honestly,
he will on a live show.
That's great, man. Ask him to remember this. Like a month before his movie, The Hunt for the Skinwalker, came out, and all the mystery and everything was building up on the ranch, that's when my drone video came out. So everybody actually saw the ranch through my drone video. So he was very angry about that.
Ah, poor guy.
He called me names. He said I was a trespasser and all this stuff, and he was pissed, man. But good. I think I actually helped. I think I helped this movie a little bit. I do. I think I gave it a little bit of, you know, a little preview of what the place was like.
What'd you think of the movie?
I really, really liked all the old George Knapp footage.
Yeah.
All those, you know, the news stuff that could never air at the time because they didn't want him to do it. But that was it.
It wasn't bad. Yeah.
It wasn't bad, man. You know, I didn't really have anything to shred on it. I appreciate Corbell. I think that now that, you know, George Knapp's stories are great, dude. You know, he's done it on the Lazar thing. He made a movie on George Knapp's Lazar stuff, and then this too. Yeah. But now that George Knapp isn't doing it, I don't know what he's going to put out for his next movie because he's already covered the biggest stories that George Knapp. It's all George Knapp. Yeah. He's the guy that did the Area 51 shit with Bob Lazar. He's the guy that broke this ranch story here, Skinwalker Ranch. That's all George Knapp. And he brought Corbell along, and Corbell made movies about his news stories. That's
maybe he'll go to Travis Walton.
Oh, he doesn't like me either. He hates me. Travis Walton hates me.
Just to clear this up, I am not friends with Corbell. It was a joke.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
that's fine.
he's not friends with Corbell, but he's slept with Travis Walton.
I thought it was his son or his nephew. His nephew.
No. Rich technically has slept with Travis
Oh,
Walton.
I have. I fell asleep during a movie and he was in the next aisle. We were at the Phoenix Lights movie premiere. And I looked like I did now with the bigger beard, my bandana. I even wore glasses. I didn't sleep the night before. And I sat down. He's in the aisle seat. I'm in the aisle seat. And I was snoring because I've seen the movie 5 times. And when the movie ended, I stood up. He looks at me and he goes, like he was so disappointed in me. It's hard to get emotions out of him, man. That guy's weird.
He's mad at me. He's mad at me, man. Because I've got a really deep connection with some of the guys on that crew. Mike Rogers,
okay.
I'm very close with Mike Rogers, and Steve Pierce as well. Steve Pierce did my podcast a bunch of times, and I don't believe any of it, man. I don't believe their story at all.
Okay,
I don't believe.
Whoa.
Well, did you hear what Mike Rogers said about it being a hoax?
Yeah.
And how, the way he came up with that, it sounds like that was really thought out and a very good plan that was executed.
I think they're super.
What I just said.
Super nice guys, but their 45-year lie. It's bullshit, man. I'm sorry, and I don't mean to offend anybody, but I do not believe that.
No. Let's reverse it. So come on. So you saying you know the guys?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
he
genuinely does.
And it's a bullshit story.
I don't believe it. For one, they're at each other constantly.
Yeah.
They're at each. They fight like. I mean, these are not people. I want to be nice about it, but these aren't people that intelligent life from another place would pick up, man. And especially if they did, they wouldn't keep that dude for 5 days. Fuck that.
He is a dick.
I want to get him on my show one day. You've just spoiled that.
You don't want him on your show, dude. He's gonna sit there like a fucking statue, just kind of.
He called me up. Right, here's a Travis Walton story. Why Travis Walton hates me. He called me up, and I was gonna have Mike Rogers on the show. Right when Mike Rogers came out and called it all bullshit.
Yeah.
And Mike Rogers made a Facebook statement that says, "I, Mike Heston Rogers, no longer." Right sound mind and all this shit, no longer support the Travis Walton story. So I was like, hey, let's get this guy on. Maybe he's going to come out and tell us what happened, right? So I called him up and he said, sure, I'll come on to your podcast and all. So he comes on, and right before he comes on, I don't know, I guess Steve Pierce gave Travis Walton my phone number. He calls me. And I'm sitting there, I'm at my soundboard. I got my cell phone plugged into my board. And he calls, and I declined the first call. And I texted him, he goes, this is Travis Walton. You need to call me and talk to me. So I was like, fuck it. And I hit record, and I called him. I recorded my phone call to that guy. And all he did was rip those guys apart, talk so much horrible words about these people who have covered his ass for 45 years. And I just was like, you know what? I'm putting this out. And I put it out because I just lost all respect for him. I lost all respect for that dude. How could you? These people made you rich. If you guys have Googled his net worth, Travis Walton's got a very high net worth, man. I think like 7 million something.
What?
Yes, Google it, man.
Google his net worth.
Really?
Google it.
He gets paid to go to these conventions.
Oh, wow.
Now we're talking 45 years of that too. You know what I mean? He's been doing this shit for all of his books, all that stuff. Wow. So I was just like, what a disrespectful, hateful old man. You know what I mean? Was it cool to put the phone call out? Absolutely no. It wasn't a cool thing to do. I didn't do it for likes and clicks and high fives. I put it out there because I wanted people to see what kind of a dickhead that guy was and how bad he talked about these guys who had covered his ass for 45 years. I think it was just ridiculous. And the call's still up. I'll get you a link to it so you guys can hear just how bad he was. I mean, he went off, called Mike Heston Rogers a crackhead. He was having methamphetamine hallucinations. I mean, just brutal.
I may have heard this somewhere because now I remember hearing that and saying, no, he didn't say that. And then I heard it. Yeah. That was you?
He ripped his ass, man. And I was just like, that's just so hateful. So I put it out, man. And it's still out there. And I think you can look it up on it might even be on YouTube. It says Travis Walton nukes Mike Rogers. That's the name of it. Travis Walton nukes. Now, I like Mike. I thought he's an older guy, man. He seems very genuine, and he's just an old guy, right? He's getting older, and he's getting up there in his age. And I don't know, man. I like him, and I like Steve, and none of these guys get along. They just hate each other. That's why I stopped believing in it, because I was like, these people witnessed something amazing, allegedly. Now the guy that was with me when I saw the UFO and I hurt my arms, we're no longer friends anymore. He owns the property out right next to all these ranches. We're not cool at all. But
I don't think the phenomenon brings people together, bro.
I think it separates us. I think that it intentionally separates us. It doesn't want us to, I'll use the term coexist. It doesn't want us to work together. I think that it does everything that it can to drive wedges in between people. Mm-hmm. And I truly do. I do, for the most part, work alone in the basement. I go out there. My family will come with me, but I got buddies. Hey, take me out there. I want to see this stuff. No, I'm good, man. Yeah. You know, and I don't mean it like I just know where it's going to go.
They'll ruin it.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Not on purpose. Yeah, but.
Right. So, I just keep it separated, and you know, it is what it is, man. And I don't mean any hate towards anybody. I just don't want to have any more. I've had enough battles, man. You know, had enough battles.
I know what a fan you used to be anyway, of Area 51, and a friend of mine was in charge of a substantial part of the security out there. He was texting me. Apparently, he was watching the show. My wife almost killed me because I took her out there with my kid, and as you're going on that long groom road, 17-mile drive to the gate, I took off, and there's been a little I can't even remember the car that we were in, little Kia Soul. We go down into this wash, and I'm driving up the wash, and we're just going, and it's like, you know, little tiny, like a little Jeep thing, and I'm off, and we get to the point where I can't go forward anymore, so I back us up, and as we came out of the wash, and those camo dudes were they were coming. If you know, there's actually a security force out there that a lot of coffee got spilled over that one, for sure, because we were in the area that was completely open as a public land, but it just wasn't something that people did out there, and they wanted to know exactly what it was we were doing. And when we came out of that wash, there was lots of M16s. So my wife, you know, we got our baby in the back. She's like, "What the fuck are you doing right now? Did you drive onto the property?" I go, "No, I didn't. I know where we're at. We're on public land." But they didn't care. No, they don't care. No. Yeah, and again, close. Because that's a DOE site, their authority is supreme.
Right.
And I'll tell you this, though, that's the highlight of their day. I swear to you,
I loved it. I loved it.
So I know so many of those guys. Like I'll just stop it there, but I know these guys, and
I was excited, man. I thought it was great.
They're excited. Like, that dude. Other than
rad,
that,
you know.
Other than that, dude, they look at nothing and they drive in circles on 12-hour shifts. That's what they do. Yeah.
And it's an amazing place. It really is. It's just that I just got burnt on it, man. I got really burnt on it because there's so much distance between things out there. You really have to do some serious traveling to get from one gate to one crash location or whatever. It's very spread out. So that's I just kind of lost it for Area 51. I'm not saying I won't be back because I know that there's stuff in the sky out there. It's just that there's so many eyes watching on it. I think that they had to stop with their testing. They were showing stuff. There's no doubt about it that Bob Lazar had the footage in the sky out there when he took those John Lear out there and they filmed that thing flying around. It was some crazy shit.
That's cool.
But I think they stopped all that because there's too many people like me out there running around the gate, and they can't have that.
Dave, I really wanted to get this kind of like question answered, but why would somebody up high who has all the keys to the gate, he's got every key in every hole, he knows the land, he's doing his thing, there's this guy that's flying drones over the land. Why would this guy all of a sudden just go, fuck you, Dave? Do not fly your fucking drones over my land. What,
sorry, man.
What, okay, without you getting into trouble, what did you do? What was so bad that you did?
It wasn't that it was bad.
Dave's shaking his head. Ignore Dave's shaking head.
No, man, it wasn't that it was bad. It was because I produced.
Mm-hmm.
That's why.
Because what? So you broke up. It was because you did what?
Because I produced. I showed stuff.
Yeah.
I captured the activity. That's something that they can't do.
So
they can't do it.
It's not just him. He flew a drone over. All right. Imagine you're a very powerful person and everything bends to your will. I mean, genuinely. I mean, these guys got money. They got power. They get shit done. Well, you're going to do this. You're going to capitalize on this. You're going to monopolize this. You're going to monetize this. It doesn't do shit for you. Doesn't even like you. All right. If anything, maybe it harasses you. You bring in someone from the outside and all of a sudden more shit happens in an 8-hour tour with someone that you don't even fucking really know. And you're just there to hopefully get him to sign an NDA so he can't reduce or produce or talk about anything. So you can, honestly, it's a solid business practice. If you have something of interest or a topic of interest and you're going to launch a TV show on it and you're a producer or you're just a good businessman who's working with production, they're going to get everyone they can on the topic to be interested in the show, sign NDAs, have a conversation, and then say, hey, we're not going to use your shit. By the way, you can never talk about any of this because it was in the contract you didn't read.
Absolutely.
That's what they do.
So can I bring this audio in again to kind of understand what this means that this weird person is saying? So I don't know what he's saying. I've listened to it about 10 times today. The person on your channel, there's somebody on your channel, Dave, that you've put an audio file out.
Mm-hmm.
I've listened to it over and over again. I'm thinking, what is he saying about this person? And I'm thinking, could this person be this person who may be below me? Possibly.
No, he's not.
He's not.
He's not.
I don't understand what he's saying about you.
He's basically saying, you're as strong as your weakest link, and this guy came out here and said a bunch of false. Because he was talking about some of the things I was saying on my podcast as well too. Because, like I said, when I nuked a few of the people that were around the ranch, because the guy that was in the car with me when I saw the UFO, he ended up actually going to this person that's talking about me, went to his attorneys and helped them build their legal case against me. So he was pretending to be my friend and pretending that everything was cool and we were going to go out and investigate. And then he was writing everything down to their attorney to use against me in a $300,000 lawsuit. And they won. So this person that owns a property out there is a complete scumbag for doing that to me. Yeah, allegedly scumbag. But how I found out, now you may ask, well, how do you know that he did that? Well, it's very simple. Their attorney told me. They don't know why I cut, because they kept saying, who was with you? Who was with you while you were out there when you were going across? And I said, dude, I kept saying, no one. No one was with me. I was by myself. Well, in the video, I'm sure we see two people. No, it was me by myself. And I know that you saw two people in the video, but I just never said anything about who that was.
Allegedly.
Then it started to come, yeah, allegedly.
Allegedly two people in the video.
Right. And then as everything was coming and winding down and the lawsuit was completing its final stages, that's when I had a cordial conversation with their attorney. And they told me, we don't know why you've covered for this guy for as long as you have, because he told us everything you did. He started writing emails to them as soon as they started serving me papers. That's the kind of shit that goes on around these ranches. These people, this guy on this ranch is trying so hard to impress the big dog on the other ranch that he was turning coat on every, and here's the thing. I wasn't really doing anything crazy. I was just rolling around the ranch looking for activity. And in the process, and then I'd be like, hey, I'm going to put out this video, check it out. And then he would notify them that I'm putting out another video. And then they would record it, take it, screenshot it, and then they add it. When we went to court, they actually had this big, huge PowerPoint put together that they were going to go to the judge and show all this stuff that I said. And one of my podcasts, I said something about slapping the shit out of one of the guys that was up, the little big dick guy, you know what I mean? I said something that, I'll smack the shit out of that guy.
Did you just say you're going to slap the shit out of the little big dick guy?
Yeah. He's the little big dick guy. He wants to tell everybody that he's got.
Allegedly.
He's allegedly a little big dick guy.
He allegedly has the big dick guy.
I think he's little all the way around, bro. I honestly think he's little all the way around. So, but I saw what I saw, and not impressed. And I'm not talking about his dick either. So,
damn it.
I have no idea about any of that stuff. I just
allegedly.
Allegedly, but the basin is what it is, man, and it's continuing on. After these guys sell out and move on, and then there's a new owner that comes in. Man, I don't even know what the place is going to become. I'm really afraid that it's going to become like they're going to have hotels and
a resort.
Yeah. Right? Come and stay.
2009.
Right.
That's what happens when property developers get involved.
Yeah.
Going downtown to get me a Skinwalker burger. You know what I mean? I just
yeah.
I don't want.
Is it Skinwalker? Is it just the basin itself?
It's the basin itself, the whole basin. There's no ground zero. There really isn't a ground zero. One of the most active places that I know of there is where we talked about the ridge, the 3,000 acres of just huge property. There's a lot of crazy shit that's happened up on that ridge. And this goes back into the Bass guys, into the NIDS guys, the National Institute of Discovery Science that was put together, the Bigelow team that was put together to investigate that area. They all talk about this phenomenon up on the ridge and you know, up in the limestone and all that stuff that they talked about. Just an amazing location. So if anybody wants to get anything from it that's here in the States or whatever, go to UFO Valley Campground. They'll take you right across it. You can get a tour to go across the basin, see everything firsthand. On the ridge. On the ridge. And you can see everything. There's nothing hidden. All of these ranches, all this stuff is in plain sight for everybody to see. And the people that, again, I don't make any money off of talking about this place. I don't get paid. I'm was just saying that the place is awesome. If you're an investigator and you want to see some, you know, this part of the basin, go do it, man. I did it. I went out and did it. You know, they had me out there as a guest and took me across the place. And it is an amazing, amazing tour. If that, like I said, if that wasn't there, I wouldn't have a $300,000 guillotine over my neck.
I don't know how, and there's probably some of my guys in the chat that fucking love the show. I started watching the show because of Dave, because he told me you need to watch the Skinwalker. Little did I know he was actually talking about the documentary. But I started to watch the entire fucking series, the 3 fucking series, and I said to Dave, I said, this is fucking painful. I said, it pains me to watch this shit. What the fuck am I watching here? You know, you've got this guy that comes in, this blonde-haired goddess
on a helicopter.
The ranch owner Frugal is interviewing, and then they send them out, and they go out, and you get a guy that's got a fucking big massive lump on his fucking head with no ambulance that fucking actually you witness taking this guy. And I'm just thinking, every part of this show that I'm watching just seems like absolute bullshit. But you're saying the area, everything that they're telling you is true. But the series to me looks like total utter toss. And that's just from a guy that's in England. Because it's very dramatic, and I look at it, and it looks very staged, and I think that anybody believes those guys needs their fucking head seen to.
Well, I mean, that show and reality aren't the same thing. You know?
I love it, man. That's a great view of the show. That's a great view of television in general. You know what I mean? There's a lot of drama and a lot of stuff that's always hyped up because it's television. I cannot speak for the Skinwalker Ranch television show. I don't watch it. I'm not interested in that.
Don't watch it.
They're not going to show me anything that
Dave made me watch. He said you need to watch it.
No. I said the documentary, not the TV show. You did that on your own.
One of the things,
stop watching the TV show.
With Blind Frog, it's a completely different thing. Those guys are out there looking for, they're treasure hunters, man. They're out there looking for stuff that's buried in the ground out there, trying to do their best to do their thing. And all the paranormal stuff just comes with being in the basin. So they look at it, but they don't concentrate on it and focus it. It's 2 completely different things. Mm-hmm. Again, you know, if people love TV, then that's great. If you love movies, I love Star Wars, man. You know what I mean? I love watching movies, but my lightsaber don't work the same way as it does on the movies. You know what I mean? There's always that movie magic, TV magic, you know. If there's producers and directors, they're there for a reason. They produce and they direct and do their thing. But honestly, working around the Blind Frog Ranch guys, I developed a complete respect for the producers, for the cast. All these guys care, man. They're cool. They're into it, right? But they're focused on other shit. They're not focused in on what's flying overhead. They're interested in it. but that's not why they're there. They're there because Dwayne owns that land, and he's out there digging, and he's out there looking for the treasures that he wants to find. So that's his thing, man. You know, but it's not focused around the paranormal. But he's so cool and open about it. He wants to know, hey, man, you know, I've got access to the ranch 24/7. I can go out there anytime I want. Investigate, be on the side. He's just like, if you film anything, let me see it, put it out. You know what I mean? I want to know what you do, the best that you can to capture it so I can see it. That's Dwayne's approach. That's why I have such respect for him as an owner.
What's the most disturbing thing you've heard of? Could be anything within the research when it comes to the area that you've been researching.
The Mighton Cemetery was the most petrifying thing that ever happened to me out there.
The what? Sorry, cemetery?
It's a town called Mighton. It's about a mile and a half away from all these ranches. But they have that little cemetery that I told you that people can bury their own dead out there. I was out there. I saw like a black shape of some, because it's so dark. It's super, super dark out there, like Area 51 dark. You could wave your hand in front of your face. If you don't have any type of light, you won't see it. It's super black out there. But I saw, after my eyes adjusted, I saw like a figure moving across this, where these headstones were, and I heard a growl, and it was a snarlish type of growl, like I don't know if it was a person dressed up, if it was one of these native Skinwalker black witches, whatever. I heard something that was so petrifying to me. And they took I was on a different show called Alien Highway, talking about this situation. And they took one clip of what I said, because I said I was afraid for my life. I was afraid for my life. I was in fear. So the person that was with me didn't know I had a gun in the car. So I was like, I was afraid for my life. I was going to get my gun, and all they left was I was in fear for my life. But I was on my way to get the gun, man. I was. And I'm stumbling over headstones, man, and freshly dug graves out there as I'm stumbling back, and I'm hearing this thing. The guy that's with me is freaking out because he heard it too. So that was definitely by far the most petrifying thing. And then it just, as soon as I heard it and was trying to grasp straws so I didn't fall over, end up in one of those holes out there, it was gone. It was gone. When we went over there, I didn't have a flashlight on me or nothing when this happened. So I went and got the flashlight and went and looked right there. There's no tracks. I didn't see any type. And the ground is very weird out there. You step in it, it's like almost like the moon, you know. It's like a powdery type of
moon
dirt,
dust,
you know. Yeah, like moon dust,
powder, like baby powder. Yeah,
just like that, man. The whole cemetery is. It's very weird.
Wow.
But it's very powdery. We would have saw footsteps, man, and there was no footprints or nothing in the ground.
Wow.
So whatever that was, it definitely got my attention, and it did 100% scare the shit out of me.
Man.
Richie, you just said to me you need to eat. Go eat.
I've been. You guys are gonna keep going.
We're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going till Dave says I need to go to bed.
Right.
No, joking. No,
it's just I've been going 4 hours straight with no.
I know you've been going 4 hours straight. You piss off, mate. It's fine.
I actually do got to jump off, guys. I was just going to plan on doing a couple hours tonight, so I hope that's okay with you guys.
Okay then, mate. Yeah, well, that's the perfect. There you go then.
All right. I would love to come back and talk about things, man, and anytime you guys
we would love to have you back, mate. We definitely
for sure.
Have you back. I want to ask. So many questions.
I just don't. I would stay longer, but I don't want to get divorced. My wife's been waiting patiently for me. It's actually right behind my camera here in a bikini. I'm not lying.
I wish my wife was waiting patiently. She's asleep, and she's. If I came into the bedroom at this time of night in that type of mood, she'd probably smack me in the face with a brick.
A solid foreplay right there.
Yeah, right. That's absolutely. That's big time over here, man.
Yeah.
But I've got nice visions here, mate. Of your missus, you know.
We all do.
Right.
What was that, Dave? You've put
I
that in the
do.
chat there.
He knew what he was doing.
Yeah, it's all good, man.
He
It's all
knows.
good, but-
Go subscribe to Dave. Dave's channel
But-
it is below.
Right,
Maybe
and
his
if there's
his
any
missus
haters,
might join the channel.
if there was any haters in the chat, I'm sorry I couldn't see what they were
There
saying.
weren't
But
any.
No. People have been
No,
very,
it
mate.
was very
Mate, we
warm
need to get you
reception.
back on. We need to get you back
Yeah.
on.
right on, I'd love to do that anytime, guys. I truly appreciate talking about this stuff. I love what I do. I love this stuff. I truly do.
It shows.
Dave, check out GUFON because I think you and Rich have got you got a
It's
lot in common,
unbelievable
actually.
how parallel we are. It's crazy.
That's
Yeah,
awesome. That's awesome,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. Rich,
hard
he
to
hates
find
it.
people
He
with
hates
that.
the field. He hates it.
And I love it because I hate it.
I have a love-hate relationship with it myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
It's fun and it isn't, but it is.
Absolutely. I can't. I'm like addicted to it. I can't get away
Yeah.
from it, man.
Yeah, you are.
But I truly do enjoy this, and thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it, guys.
Well,
Nice
I'm
meeting
gonna
you,
thank.
man.
I'm gonna thank you all. I'm gonna end the show right now. Why not? Us boys could have like a 3-minute chat below before we end. Thank you, everybody. You've all been amazing, and I apologize again for the trolls last night. I have no idea why somebody would want to show that sort of
It's all behind us.
profanity.
It's all behind us now.
It's gone. It's gone. It's gone.
Yeah,
Well,
it is.
it actually has gone because I had to delete the live stream. But yeah, there are some fucked up people in ufology, and they weren't in ufology, Rich. I don't care what anybody says because they knew every single name from the chat.
All right.
Anyway,
Bobcat, thank you very much for the super chat. I love you too, my friend. Skinwalker Ranch sounds great. Love to go to Dave. I would love to go to Dave too.
I think he meant with Dave.
Oh yeah. Good night, God bless. Mind the bugs don't bite. I'm Alien Addict. Like, share, and subscribe, and all that jazz. And yeah, just don't be gullible motherfuckers. Good night.